Welcome to another episode of the Waffle Shop podcast. Today, I'm joined by someone who is going to be one of those people that I guaranteed in a year's time, I'm like, he was on my show. It's rapper Formz. Welcome to the Waffle Shop.
Let's go. Thank you very much for having me, my man.
The energy and the vibes are here already. So I'm a big fan.
I'm glad. I'm like a Duracell bunny. It's one of them where like it can be 3 o'clock in the morning, everyone's and I'm like, no, let's go. Or it can be 8 a.m. or 2 p.m. or you name it, a time of the day. I've got energy. I'm
I
here.
mean, I respect that. I'm in my 30s and I kind of wish I had that. So you're an inspiration.
Were
I'm
you
going to
like that?
take
Were you
that.
like that before as well?
No. No.
Oh,
I was gonna lie, but yeah, no, in all honesty.
that's fine.
But to be fair, this is all very like nice and like energetic and stuff. But I do start each one of my shows with something called the weekly waffle, which is
Cool.
something that's quite frankly that's got on my nerves. In the hopes that once I spoke to my guest about it, I feel that little bit better. And
Yeah.
so feel free to get involved if there's anything that's like a bit petty that gets on your nerves.
Cool.
Um, but this actually happened to me this morning, and I actually feel like my face is going red at the shame of it again. But have you ever threw something at the bin and missed, and then you've got that kind of shameful, the
It's
shameful
like
walk of going to pick it up?
there is no quicker way to murder an ego than
Ah,
to miss the bin. And how far away was the bin? Like a meter or two?
I mean that's being kind. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it wasn't one of my finest moments.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Because it's like, oh, yeah, easy. Kobe, swoosh. And then
Yeah,
how it's easier to get it in the bin than to miss the bin. So I get it.
yeah,
And it's frustrating. And like, I'm now angry for you.
I appreciate that. See, this is what happens on the show. We share our stories,
Yeah.
and everyone gets pissed off. It's great.
Oh, facts. Wow.
It
Well,
is
it can only get better from here.
well, to be fair, that's how it started. Now I'm chatting to you. So if anything, I'm winning. So appreciate that.
I'm here for it.
Is there anything that gets on your nerves that you'd like to get off your chest today?
Um, you know what? I've got a headline show coming up in Manchester in 5 days. Uh,
Yes.
of which I've been like whenever I prepare for my shows, I prepare for my shows. Like I bring so much energy out on stage. I give my absolute all. So for me, everything goes into the preparation in order for match day, for kickoff. Let's have it. Um, it's gonna sound ungrateful, and I'm really not ungrateful at all. I'm so happy with the way things are going, but everything seems to be happening at the wrong time, the right things at the wrong time. Like I've been doing a school tour up in Manchester to kind of promote the show and reach a demographic that kind of already follows me and all of that kind of stuff. And that's been real fun. So I did a week of that. And then I went straight to Vegas for the Super Bowl, which again,
Of
I'm so
course. Yeah.
grateful for.
Oh God,
It
how
was so cool.
inconvenient.
But
God.
like I didn't have a second to rehearse. So it's like I went 2 whole weeks without a single rehearsal. And now
Oh,
I'm
of
back
course.
every day, full steam ahead, rehearse, try and get my throat to recover, rehearse until the show. So it's not like annoyed me, but like the perfectionist I am when it comes to being on stage, like I'm now like, oh my god, there's 5 days to go. Am I gonna get everything ready? I will, but it's one of them that I hadn't mentioned it, and now it's off my chest. I'm ready to go.
There we go. See, it's just a gift that keeps on giving this show. You'll feel it as soon as you step out onto that stage and those voices and like, the people are singing your lyrics back to you. You
Mm-hmm.
know that it was all worth it.
100%. And it's my first ever show in Manchester as well. It's like we wanted to test the area. It's going well so far. So it's those final couple tickets and these final couple days, and then it's full steam ahead. Let's have it.
So it's the 21st, isn't it?
Yeah,
21st at the Deaf Institute, the lodge.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, 21st of Feb in Manchester, and then we've got 14th of March at O2 Academy Islington in London.
Wow. Okay. Before we dive into kind of like the live shows and where people can find you,
Yeah.
especially when I have a musical guest on, I like to kind of work backwards a little bit.
Hmm.
I find it so fascinating when I have like a singer or a rapper or anyone with any kind of musical talent on the show, how that started. Like, how did you know that you could do what you do now so well?
First of all, thanks. It honestly stems back from being so young. like even back to primary school days. I remember being 3, 4, 5 years old. My mum would drive us to and from primary school. She'd have Capital Radio on in the car, and I'd listen to a song once or twice and just know every single word back to front, to the point where like a song would just come out. We'd be driving to school. I'm belting out these lyrics, and everyone in the car's like, "How do you know the words already?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I love it." And or like not just Capital, but do you remember like the Now CDs? Like now that's what I
Yes.
call.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it must have been like Now 63, track 2, disc 2, track 19 was Do You Remember by Jay Sean, Sean Paul. Like
Oh
that
my God.
that was like
Yes.
my
Okay.
favorite song back in the day. And it was class. So I just remember like listening to a song once or twice, remembering every single lyric, and then just playing that same song in the car to and from school. And then from that, I kind of just liked attention as well from a young age. So I was always the lead in the school plays in primary school and just getting on stage and doing my thing. I was Bert in Mary Poppins and the genie in Aladdin. And that's kind of where
God,
it,
you're like forced to be reckoned with.
yeah, fully triple threat, except don't watch me dance.
How was that, to be fair? Speaking of dancing, obviously you've just come back from obviously the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you take any inspiration from Usher with the moves for the live show, or
The the
you're just
person
going
that
to
I
leave
was
that
next
to?
No, no, no. Still, like the person I was next to filmed, like stopped filming Usher and started filming my reaction to it. Like just being an artist and
Wow.
watching one of the biggest artists on one of the biggest stages live in front of me was so inspiring. Am I going to get on roller skates and start dancing around stages? Probably not. Can I pop it and lock it like Usher can? I can try it. I might pop my hip, but it was like the whole performance was hella inspiring because it's like that's like the pinnacle of his career right there, and I'm
Yeah.
watching it happen. So it's just the stuff of dreams.
We'll leave Usher. He's had his moment. We're here to talk
Mhm.
about you.
Yeah,
So you're Bert, you're the genie in like Aladdin, like you're the main
yeah.
part. When did it kind of transition into like, do you know what? I'm actually going to start, singing my own songs, rapping my own lyrics rather than, well, singing about magic carpets.
Yeah, fully. It's actually I'm really glad because I've actually got turning points and like light bulb moments that have happened to me, which is great because it means I can tell my story and not be like, oh, I actually don't know when it happened. It just happened. I love that I've got what I'm about to say. So, got a little bit older, early teens, started to develop my own music taste a bit. Lent into like the pop rap type world with your Tinchy Striders, examples, Tiny Tempers.
Bangers.
So then yeah, elite time for British music. And I went to see Tiny Temper at the O2 in 2014. And I remember it so clearly. 30th of March, sat block 110. And that changed everything. Like the way he came out on stage, used the whole stage up, had this big personality, and had 20,000 people rapping his words back to him. I looked at my friend Ollie, I was like, yeah, I want that. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. But like, I looked at what he was doing, the feeling he gave me, I was instantly just so desperate to give to millions of people. And I get it, like 5 to 10,000 people in that arena probably went, oh, that'd be nice to do one day. It wasn't like that for me. I just looked at it and went, yeah, my 2 feet are going to be on that stage one day. And I'd never quite made the connection of I love music, I can do music, but watching someone do it and inspire me the way that he did, I was like, cool, why can't I do it? So I went home that night as a 14-year-old with zero musical experience and started writing about what happened in my day and trying to make it rhyme.
Wow.
Uh, it was terrible, but you got to start
Of
somewhere.
course you
And I
have.
just I kept going. I just haven't looked back since.
Mate, one, that is quite inspirational considering, at that age to be like so kind of clear on what you want to do. There's people obviously in their 30s, 40s. I mean, some people never
Yeah.
get to that point of like, oh, actually, I'm going to pursue this now. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
I love this. I'm going to go and do it. I mean, to be fair, I didn't find it until I turned 30 in a pandemic. I was like, oh, do you know what? I might start a podcast.
Sick.
And then it obviously led me to this point. When it comes to kind of like the rapping and the
Mm.
lyrics and kind of piecing it all together, how does that kind of like, how do you find that flow? Because we had Sean Paul on the show and he was saying that he finds his rhythm when he swims. That kind
Wow.
of rhythm of him kind of like doing like front crawl gives him a natural rhythm that he works with then to kind of piece the lyrics with. How does
hmm
that process look for yourself?
Well, I mean, one thing that I tell whenever I speak to whoever it is that will DM me and say, "Oh, how do you start writing?" or "How do you do this?" or when I've been going around to schools and they ask me questions, one thing I say is first things first. I think when it comes to music and art, it's all about feeling. And if you don't know how to put your feelings down on a page, start how I started in the sense of just write what happened to your day, make it rhyme, see if it works, and then get used to writing about things that happen to you. The more comfortable you get, the more open you'll be with experimenting, talking about feelings, whether that be I'm on top of the world, I want energy, let's go, or you know what, there's a real raw emotion here about a time that was a little bit more down or just emotional in any kind of sense. And once you kind of get and understand how to interact with your feelings, flowing kind of becomes easier. So I'll sit in a studio and whichever producer I'm with, I go, okay, this is how I'm feeling. These are the kind of sounds I can hear. And as soon as I've got something, it just comes out. I think the best way to describe how I find it easy to jump into different types of styles and flow around it is I just love music. Like I will listen to Adele on a Monday, the Chainsmokers, and some hardcore slander nightmare EDM on a Tuesday, Jason Mraz on a Wednesday, Stormzy and Skepta on a Thursday. So I'm so inspired by different types of music around me that I just understand how all of it's pieced together. I know what I'm capable of. So then it's like, okay, how can I comfortably fit within a pocket of more melodic song, or how can I fit more in the pocket of something that's literally 140 BPM that's like boom, 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 boom. And then the more you do, the more you feel comfortable with, the more you resonate. That's when you're like, okay, I understand how I can tackle that. With me, I don't think I've got one distinctive flow, but I've got a distinctive way of how I tackle beats and instrumentals. And it's all based off a feeling. And now I'm fully waffling, which I guess is what this podcast is. But
Very on
it's just
brand. Very on brand.
the more you do and the more you try and get in touch with yourself and be honest with yourself, that's when the comfort comes out. Because if you're trying to force something and be like, oh, Central C flows that way, that's working, let's try to do what he does, or Stormzy flows that way, let's try to do what he does, yeah, let's explore that. It doesn't work because then you lose yourself. So trying everything and trying it a million times is fully what works for me. I may go swimming though and see if I can figure that one
I
out.
mean, give
See
it a
if
go. I mean, I've been swimming ever since that episode, and
it
we made a song together, so it works.
shut
So
up.
yeah, no one will ever hear
Wow.
it, but I did it.
Wow. Oh no, I have to
Yeah.
hear that.
But no musical talent whatsoever. That's actually like a really beautiful answer because there's kind of like probably a way to answer questions like that I kind of really like, oh, technical and kind of this is how I do, but like just there's something quite
Yeah.
beautiful about being in the moment, trusting yourself, and being
Mhm.
okay with talking about not only like the highs, but like
Yeah.
the lows as well. It actually feeds quite nicely into one of the questions I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, the brand new single, Keyboard
Mhm.
Warriors. Obviously, we're in this generation of where, like you say, keyboard warrior, you know exactly that someone's got
Yeah.
some grief somewhere from someone who's behind a keyboard. How did that come together?
There was a distinctive moment, and it's I introduced the song in like I'll nutshell it because I talk quite a lot when I do the school tour and I tell them a little bit more about how Keyboard Warriors comes about. But whenever I say, oh, this next song's called Keyboard Warriors, because they're school kids, they're like, oh, what is this going to be about? What's he going to talk about? And I go, let me give you some context. And I basically talk about how I I've got quite thick skin. Like I'm really good at blocking out the noise. In my head, it's fully a case of if I can't control it, why am I going to let it get to me? But I also understand that having a following that's big, I mean, 880,000 people is not small. I'm grateful for it. But you need to understand that the bigger the following, the more open you are to receiving
Yeah.
keyboard warriors, trolls, whatever it is. I've been so good at blocking it out. And then I went on Sky Sports because I rap a lot about the Premier League and Formula One. So Sky Sports had me on the show, which was an incredible experience. I took that with both hands. They wanted me to do a summary of what happened last season in the Premier League. So I stood there, smashed it out the park with the cameras in front of my face. I was like, yeah, that was sick. I loved it. Sky loved it. Mum loved it. And then social media
Love that.
decided it was my turn to like be ripped apart. So I hopped on Twitter. Someone had reposted the clip and it got maybe 10 million views and over 15,000 like pure hate comments thrown straight
Wow.
at me. Like I got embarrassing freak, clown. His parents should never have had him. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but someone said I felt a tumor growing inside me watching this. Like it's like bad stuff.
Yeah.
I usually look at stuff like that and I see the funny in it and I'll laugh. I'm scrolling and scrolling and it just didn't end. And I'm smiling, but inside I'm like, yeah, no, this is hitting me differently. And I had a studio session booked the next night with this unbelievable producer. It's called R14. He's got songs with like D Block and Unknown T and Clavish, some really cool UK artists. So I'm sitting in this room with him and I've got to get this off my chest. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to talk about people being mean to me online. That's not very rappery. So how can I flip the script? How can I get it off my chest, empower myself, and also not kind of play the victim role, which I think would have been really easy to lean into. And I kind of took a step back and went, life's going well right now. Like things are happening. If I just talk about all the good things and essentially just flex on the trolls, they're not really going to have a leg to stand on. So I was like, cool, what's going well? Let's write about it. And let's write about it with energy. And they're not going to be able to come back at it. And that's where Keyboard Warriors was born. And I kind of just got in the booth and started spitting bars. And I came out and the producer and the engineer that were in there were like, had no idea where you were going to take it. But yeah, smashed it. I just made it
I
me as
love
well.
that, mate. And I genuinely, I'm going to say this with my chest. One of the best lyrics of all time, especially like it's just a very UK thing. And I'm going to read it out. Um, Go do your homework, son. One love for my keyboard warriors. It must be a lonely one. Heart more broke than a McFlurry one.
Yep.
Honestly, anyone in the UK knows the McFlurry machine is never working. And
Never
as
were.
soon as the first time I heard it, I was like, that is genius.
Mm,
Absolute genius.
thank you. Yeah, it's one of them. I was like, it's a serious topic, but I'm not a serious guy. So let's just have fun with it. And that's why like the first lyric of the second verse is just rocked up to the shoe in Jordan 4s and Tottenham socks. Cause I'm sitting there with Jordan 4 green glows and grey Tottenham socks on. And we were talking about how to tackle the second verse. And I was like, I'm just me. Like I'm the kind of guy that will go anywhere in J4s and Tottenham socks. And someone went, that's a bar, put it in. Like it's just unseriousness whilst trying to tackle a serious topic. And I think with the way that the world is at the moment, and every comedian will tell you the same thing. Obviously, I'm not a comedian, but they'll tell you the same thing. Like humor is a way to tackle the most difficult topics in the most light-hearted of ways. And I'm like, well, yes, I understand that your Lewis Capaldi's and your Lana Del Rey's will tackle difficult topics and make it sound difficult, but that's just not me.
Yeah.
Uh, like I've got
But then
stuff to
you're
talk.
saying though, it's like you're kind of, I think it is a huge coping mechanism. Like obviously everyone goes through their different paths, but I think a lot of it comes down to you have to kind of sometimes dust it off and be able to laugh about it. Like I
Yeah.
think it's almost like a bit of a superpower to be
Mhm.
able to do that because you could have quite easily sat and read all those comments and just gave up. You know that wasn't going to happen with the amount of drive that you have, but it was a reality that could have happened. And
Mhm.
the way that you almost like clapped back in a way that is so you, like it's your
Mm.
personality, and like you weren't doing anything other than being 100% yourself. I think it's the biggest middle finger that you could have actually ever done.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it fully is, and like that. But that's it. That's I'm just being me. So if someone turns around to Keyboard Warriors and goes, "Yeah, mate, that's not it," cool. You don't need to see that. I can see it, and it stems back to like being back in school. Because I mean, the story runs from I started writing when I was 14, wasn't confident because it wasn't great, didn't really show anyone anything, and then Stormzy steps out onto the mainstream with his confidence and the way his bars come across and his personality shines in every single piece of delivery that he has. You kind of just know who he is and what he's there for, and that confidence a year after I started writing just dripped down into me. And I was like, cool, if he can, I can. Started rapping for everyone and anyone that would listen to me. And every single person that I rap for would just laugh. And it would just be that funny thing. And I got branded like the tragic one throughout sixth form. Tragic. What are you doing? It's never gonna work. What the hell are you gonna rap about? Tragic, 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 tragic. And I didn't listen to a single word of it because I loved it so much. First things first, why am I going to let another human being dictate what my life has in store for me? Just what didn't make sense in my head. But I loved it so much. I could see the vision so clearly that just because other people can't see the vision, cool. I don't need them to see it. The only person that needs to see it to make it happen is me. And that is something that, because I did that and recognized that from so early, and I'm grateful for that, I've been able to train that muscle in my brain up to the point where even if Simon Cowell, for example, was to turn around and go, yeah, Brian, that's not it. Cool. You can't see it. Do I respect your opinion because of your career? 100%. But you're not me. You can't see what I see. Like 100,000, the next 100,000 people that hear my next song could go, yeah, no, that's not it. But then the next million people after that could go, yeah, we're vibing with Formz. And it's like, cool, sick. I'm making it for me. And if it resonates with someone else, unbelievable.
This is mate, the level of kind of fire. Like I literally, my face is aching already from just like, yes,
Thank you.
it's so refreshing to kind of hear. And it's like it's a big thing on this show that
Mhm.
these kind of things and like the comments or even like the hardships that come with life, they're stepping stones.
Yeah.
It's like a big message behind everything that I kind of
Mhm.
talk about, even everything the podcast stands for. It's always stepping stones to the next
Yeah.
thing. They're never like there to stop you in your tracks. It
Yeah.
can do, but in time, you're going to have to take a step on top of that. One of the things I did want to talk about, because you've mentioned it, like with the Stormzies, the Tinies, music is one of my biggest coping mechanisms when it comes to like those kind of days when I'm just like, today's not the day. Like this
Yeah.
morning, for example. So I missed
Oh
that
my
bit. I was
God.
like, oh, here we go. Another one. Is it safe to say that music is always kind of like when the days do get a little bit hectic, your
Yeah.
headphones are in, you're either writing or you're listening?
Yeah. I think, well, I mean, back in the day before I was like full-time music, listening was the one. Just if I was having a bad day, I was never the type to listen to like sad boy music or anything really big and emotional or big pop ballads. For me, if I was having a bad day, I'd get in my car, I'd drive in the motorway and just like bang out a grind playlist and just like let that energy just like I'd rap along with it and just get it out in one way. And I do something similar now, but I think I've now got this power of I understand how to navigate my feelings and put pen to paper. And I've got this studio in my house, which again I'm so grateful that I'm able to literally roll out of bed in my pants and come into my studio and just put
The dream.
out exactly and just put it all out into a song, whether that's ever going to be shown to someone or not. And if for whatever reason I'm really like I can't get it out, then yeah, I'll just sit here, play some music through the speakers, and it's one of them where I like stuff to change my mood or get me smiling or upbeat again. So I'll just listen to like the Chainsmokers, or I'll listen to Marshmello, or I'll listen to some. My girlfriend's got me into country music recently, so I'm like,
It's massive at the minute.
yeah, it's huge. So yeah, to answer your question in a nutshell, music is whether I'm writing it or listening to it is the one.
No, I've got a lot of respect for that. I literally, I'm a big believer in everyone having like those songs and those kind of
Hmm.
albums, artists, that kind of soundtrack, like particular moments. Have you ever considered that you might be the soundtrack to someone else's story?
I love that question because I already know that I am. Like I get messages every now and then. I actually got a message last night saying, "Hey bro, hope you're good. Looking forward to seeing you in Manchester," which was a great way to start the conversation. I'm like, yeah, he's got tickets. I just want to let you know, like, me and my girlfriend broke up like last week, and I've got a song called Prisoner on repeat for like the past week, and it's really helping me get through it because I relate to it so much, and I know it so well that I now just can't wait to belt it out at the show. And I'm like, yes, sick. That's literally it. Like I'm writing based off of my experiences, and I know other people go through those experiences. So to even have one person go, yeah, I got that on repeat, something you made from your heart on repeat, is helping me cope. It's an indescribable feeling. It really is.
Speaking of songs, though, obviously you're an outgoing guy,
Mm.
and I mean you discussed the dance moves before we kind of like at the start of the show. But is does there need to be like a particular song playing to get Forms on the dance floor?
Dua Lipa usually does it.
Yeah.
Like whether
Okay.
whether I'm a, whether it stemmed from like, where was I? it stemmed from, I think I was at Ultra in Croatia in 2019. And one of the DJs, EDM festival, and all of a sudden one of the DJs decides to play One Kiss. And I just went, no, oh no, you know what it was? It was the World Cup where someone remixed it and was like, Joe Hart's not on a plane, give it Harry Kane. And I just fell in love with One Kiss. So every time someone played it at a festival, I go nuts to the point where any Dua Lipa song that comes on, I grab the boys. I'm like, let's go. So if it's Dua Lipa, I'm there. But one thing that really gets me going recently is old school Taylor Swift. My gym playlist is
Okay.
just Taylor Swift. Like I'll happily listen to I Knew You Were Trouble on repeat for an hour and I'll get the biggest pump of my life. So yeah, Dua Lipa and old school Taylor Swift, and I'm there.
Respect it. Respect. Do you know what I
Yeah.
love about this is the fact that when I've asked that question in the past, like I almost feel like people have to give you like a cool answer. And I was just like,
Nah.
you straight away, you were straight in there, like, yeah, this is it. Um,
Yeah. What is cool to the point where I brought back from the Super Bowl a Travis Kelsey jersey just because I love
just be,
her so much.
on the flip side of that, is there a particular song, album, or artist that you sometimes would like to pretend you're in a music video to, or like brings the emotion out?
Brings the emotion out, yes. Funnily enough, I know you had Sean Paul on, like you said. Um, the song that he's got with Anne Marie. Oh
Oh,
my
don't do
god.
that. No, wait, hang on. You're not going to go rockabye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm
Re-
also quite well connected to that song.
Only like reason being single, grew up with a
Mum.
single mom.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whenever I listen, and I didn't even clock it because like when it came out, it was a bop. And I've always been the type to listen to lyrics, but it was such a bop. The sun was out. I was like, rockabye, baby, rockabye. I was like, yeah, this is a banger. And then a couple years ago, I was literally driving home from, I don't know, wherever. And it was me in the car and the song came on. And I just listened to the lyrics and I started crying. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? So like that, yeah, that song is like, it's, yeah, I mean, you relate, but like,
Yeah, as
yeah,
soon
like,
as you said it, I was like, okay.
yeah,
I know. I felt like I knew why instantly because, yeah,
mm,
from a similar thing. On that though, there is a song by a very exciting new artist called
mm,
Met, and the song's called Mama's Eyes.
okay.
Give it a listen because yeah, it was like a punch to the stomach with that.
Oh
When it
God,
comes to
I
kind
don't,
of,
I don't think I'm ready.
but it's nice though because
But
it's one of those songs that you feel like you shouldn't dance to, but the lyrics are like really kind
yeah,
of heartfelt. Is there a song that you'd quite like to wrap in chains, put in a box, kick to the bottom of the ocean, never hear it again?
it's so annoying because I love the album, but Ed Sheeran's Number 6 collaborations project, the whole album, and I tell you why. I I love the album and it's annoying. I love the song he's got with Camila Cabello and Cardi B. I love the one he's got with
Yes.
Dave. I love the one he's got with I love Blow with Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars and
Oh
the
my God, I forgot
Stormzy
about
one,
that.
one with Khalid and Justin Bieber. It's an elite album. The music on it, the artistry is next level. It came out at a time where I was so depressed that I actually just can't listen to it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it came out on the day, funnily enough, when I went to Ultra Music Festival in Croatia in 2019, and I was listening to it on the plane, and I was like, "Yeah, slaps, love it." But I'm at this festival, summer vibes. It's meant to be such a good, like, oh, yeah, let's go. Like the drinks are flowing, everyone's on good vibes, and I'm trying to get myself out of a bit of a slump. Just didn't work. Like I'm standing there, I see everyone around me having the time of their life, and I'm like, I'm not happy. But I just remember listening to it on the way there. And I was like, as an artist, I was like, okay, cool, let's keep listening to it. So I got home from the festival or during the days before the festival started. I just like have it on repeat to try and get used to the album. But what that did was attach that feeling to the album. So yeah, chain it up and chuck it in the ocean, which is annoying. And I love it. And it's a dream collab, but just it wasn't a great time for me.
No, I respect that. And to be fair, thank you for being so honest. And again, I champion everything that you just said. Like there's something so powerful about how music can take you
Mhm.
back to those moments and how it kind of like it just almost like grabs you Oh, I'm not saying, can I swear? It's my show. But he like grabs you by the bollocks to be like,
Yeah.
to be like, okay. I've got one final question for you, which I think I'm
Mhm.
really going to regret,
Go on.
because it would probably really embarrass myself. But I'm going to wrap it because I feel like, you're very lyrically blessed. So I feel like you
Bring
can.
it.
So, oh shit, I probably should have rehearsed this a little bit more. Um, I'm here with my main man, Formz, waffling about how we navigate the storms. He's about to step out on tour. Formz, what have we got in store? Oh, wait, I even
I
got a
love it.
microphone. Wait.
Yeah, he's dropped it. He's dropped it.
So
Oh,
I
I
need to be
love
careful. That's very expensive.
Yeah, no, best just to drop it and catch it real
So,
quick.
out of 10, quickly, out of 10.
13 and a half.
I think we
And I
just
get
became best friends.
of course, whenever I describe my girlfriend, I call her a 13 out of 10. So if you're a 13 out of half
Wow.
out of 10,
Okay.
that's a compliment.
I'm taking that.
Um,
I'm actually
yeah,
sweating. I've got a little bit of a sweat.
breathe deep breaths. Um, yeah, no, to what's in store? So much. I've got a song coming out in, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks time, called Leveling Up, which slaps. It's with a producer called Roddy Beats, who's worked with like Central C and Fredo, and his credentials are nuts. And he's a Spurs fan as well, and I'm Spurs, so that
There
always
we
is
go.
nice. There's few of us in the music industry. It's a song with pure energy, and it's a proper introduction to me, what I can do, where I'm headed, where I've been. But there's also some like vocals and melodies on it as well, because I've started to kind of introduce the singy side of things. I'm gonna start to lean this year into like the pop rap esque,
Yes.
Rick
Okay.
Six type, Plan B type stuff, because that's what I listened to growing up. It's what I love making, and that's where I wanna take things. So all the music coming out this year is just going to be class. The big things at the moment are the two headline shows I got: Manchester, Deaf Institute, 21st of February, O2 Academy, Islington, London, 14th of March. I got Keyboard Warriors music video that just dropped, so that's out now. So if you want to see, like, it's a cool concept. I won't spoil it. Go and watch it. It's ridiculous.
The
Um,
link is down below. Go and listen
yeah,
to it. Go and listen to
yeah.
it. Or
Yeah,
watch
there
it, even.
is.
You watch a video.
Yeah, that's fine. You can close your eyes if you want. A bit pointless. So yeah, it's headline shows, loads of new music with some cool samples coming this year as well, which I won't spoil too much because
Oh no, don't do that.
I wanna
It's
want I
such a-
wanna surprise them. Put it this way, I may or may not have sampled the most iconic football anthem in the world, or at least in Europe, which is my hint
Is
for
it
you.
was it from a World Cup?
No.
Oh,
But I'll tell you after the show.
okay. Okay.
And then
Okay.
also an iconic pop song surrounding like just a big. I went through a bit of a man whore phase, so like just surrounding that kind of
Oh,
stuff. Big samples, big songs, big shows, big music videos, and it's all coming this year.
big year.
Big year,
Big
big
year.
form.
Big four. Mate, honestly, you have been brilliant to waffle with. Genuinely, like I feel like I needed this today. Like my energy levels are like right where they need to be. Um,
Yeah.
best of luck with the live shows, the year. And I can't wait to see what's coming. But thank you so much for joining me for a waffle.
Thank you very much for having me.